Hi, everyone. My name is Shy Grahame, and this is Views from the Bridge. And we have Katrina Pratt here today with us. She is the broker owner of Rainbow Realty. She's a powerhouse in real estate, and I am glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you,
yes.
Shy.
Yes, so Katrina, we have a couple questions for you. I want to start with the Bridge Scholarship. How did that change, your life back then when you got that scholarship?
Oh my goodness, we're talking over 30 years ago. Okay, so I was pretty much on the fence as far as wanting to get into real estate. I was always told that it was going to be expensive, that it was unattainable. And so when I was introduced to the scholarship, it was one day that I just happened to see that there was going to be a meeting at it wasn't the university, it was the college. It was on Woodland Street. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. But they had a meeting regarding a minority scholarship program. So I was like, okay, well, let me check this out. So I got there, I met Ron Armstrong and I met Bianchi Pickney. Now, Bianchi, I didn't know Bianchi back then. Now she's like one of my best and dearest friends. But back then, so I didn't know her, but she was one of the first recipients, and she was standing and she was talking about just what it's done for her. And it just gave me the excitement of wanting to say, well, let me see if I can get it. And, I applied and I got it. So that's where I began. That's my start.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So take us back. How many years again?
30 plus. I'm telling my age, 30 plus.
Well, you look good.
Thank you.
So take us back 30 plus years when you first got your license. What was the motivation? What made you get into real estate 30 years ago?
Oh my gosh. It's a funny story. I was, they used to have those late infomercials, and they say you can really get people to buy something when it's really late at night. Well, there was a seminar, it was the Tom Booth seminar, and they was telling people, oh, come check us out. And so, I went to the seminar, and it kind of opened up my nose, and the seminar itself wasn't, really all that. But then, it was right after that I got the minority scholarship notice and went. And then that kind of took me to a whole new level. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the minority scholarship, did you ever face any discrimination, being a realtor in these past 30 years, or maybe your clients? If you can talk a little bit about that with us.
Okay, so I've seen a lot in 30 years. And I could say yes, I have seen discrimination. I think one of the recent forms of discrimination that I've seen and noticed now is when they have the CHAFA program. Sellers and some realtors seem to think that just because people are using those programs that they're less of a buyer, because they don't have no skin in the game. And lo and behold, just because these buyers are eligible to use these programs doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have the money. But whether they do or they don't is really not the issue. If they qualify, because it's not hard to qualify, but it's not that easy either, because you have to be, responsible. You have to, have at least a minimum credit score. You have to be at your job at least 2 years, and then be in the state for at least 3 years. So anybody can buy a house. You just have to know exactly what's required, but it doesn't make you less of a person just because you don't have no huge down payment. And that's a myth that needs to stop, and people need to not be judged based on that.
Correct. Funny story. I'm an investor myself, and I had a property that I sold, and the buyer was CHAFA. Listen, I got, over asking, great buyer, and we didn't, I'm not going to discriminate just because it's not conventional or FHA. We see that a lot with agents or whatnot. And, it was a great transaction.
Because buyers will tend to be a little bit more generous because they don't have to come out with all this money.
Yes.
So now they can give you better offers. Yes. And once they get qualified through a lender, they're pretty solid.
People don't realize it works great for the buyer and the seller.
Exactly.
So people don't realize the buyer didn't have to come out of their pocket so much, but I'm going to give you a little extra for that. Exactly. Seller gets to walk away with a little extra money. Everyone's happy.
Yes.
And, people don't look at it that way. So.
Well, I had ran into a situation where I had one of my buyers coming from North Carolina, and she put a lot of trust in me because she kind of bought it sight unseen. And she had 2 girls, and she was closing on Monday, so she was doing her final walkthrough. She was super excited. She came, she was moving out of it. She had like a U-Haul truck with like a 5-bedroom house that she was moving out of. So she was just going to just, park the truck there. So we go to the walkthrough, and like everything that the seller was supposed to do, it never did. And then it was even worse. It was reeking of oil. So needless to say that this deal did not close. So now here she is. She's starting her new job, and she has an executive position with a, with a company. And she's starting this new job. She got 2 girls, and now she's homeless. So, it was really a scary situation because she was a chaffa buyer. And yes, even if you're out of state, you can be a chaffa buyer. Maybe not the time to own, but you can be a chaffa buyer. But when we were out there, so anyway, first I made sure I secured them a place, so I made sure they were settled, comfortable,
that's nice.
Because it was a scary situation being, in a new state, but I made sure that it was good. That was number 1. Number 2, we just hit the ground, running, seeing like 20 houses a day to get them set, to find a house that they was going to be, they can move into. But you'd be surprised how many times we were outbidded just because they were chaffer. So yes, that is a form. But listen, I know how to package everything to let them know, like, listen, they may be chaffer, but you may not want to sleep on these buyers. These are like really great buyers.
Yes.
But you have to advocate for your client because there is a lot of misconceptions and maybe prejudice as far as, like them being less of a buyer. They're not. So anybody can own a house, and I'm going to make sure that everybody knows about it.
Well, you hear that. So Katrina, I just want to thank you, for coming out and speaking with us. I think that your clients definitely have a lot of trust in you. For you to do that, when she had 2 kids, pretty much lost her home coming to Connecticut homeless, and you helped her out. I mean, that is, your blessing. Yes.
Well, I love what I do. If I even tell my agents, I have 9 agents now, and my team is growing, and I tell them, like, I make sure that it's the right fit because you can't be in this for the money. You have to be about the service. The money's going to come. But if you're doing your job and you're doing it and you really have the passion to do it, then you're going to last a long time in this business. But you have to be about protecting that client because they do not know. They do not know what to ask for. They do not know what to look for. I've been in this business long enough that I'm going to make sure that, like, they may not know what to ask, but I know what to ask on their behalf. So I'm going to make sure I have that circle of protection to make sure that if they, so they won't even know that they're being discriminated against because I'm going to protect that too. To the best of my ability. So I'm just excited, because like I said, I love what I do and I'm here to help. Whether you're an agent, whether you're a broker, whether we need to brainstorm, whether we need to come together, as former agents and brokers, like United we stand. Like we help each other get the job done and nobody needs to be discriminated against in that process. I've been at this 30 years and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And, I'm becoming more involved with the committees. Anything that can help us elevate to the next level, I am here for it all. So, if you ever need me anything, just be happy. Just reach out. I am here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Katrina.
All right.